Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Money G, time to review the latest psychological supernatural horror film. Yes, it is time to review The Woman in the Yard because today's the day.
Y'all ready for this? Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Money G.
Now, The Woman in the Yard is a 2025 American psychological horror film. Now, the film was directed by Jamet Corlett Sierra and was written by Sam Stefanik. Now, the film stars Daniel Deadweiler, Kua Akapaskui, Russell Hornsby, Peyton Jackson, and Estella Kahila. Now, in this film, a mysterious woman repeatedly appears in the family's front yard, often delivering chilling warnings and messages to the family. Oh no. Well, like she did say, today's the day. Now, horror fans, sometimes you can't wait for a horror film to come out as you believe this is going to be a good one. I mean, you get excited after seeing the trailer. You're impressed with who's directing it and who as well as starring in this particular film. I was excited when Megan first came out in 2022, along with A Quiet Place, The Conjuring, and The Shallows. That's because all three of those horror films had either a good director or a good actor starring in them, and all three of them turned out to be very good, decent horror films. Now that brings us to Spanish American film director Jamil Colette Sierra's latest project, the psychological supernatural horror film that is called The Woman in the Yard. Now, the story is very simple as we're introduced to Ramona, along with her son Taylor and daughter Annie, who are struggling after her husband David was killed in a car accident and left her with a injured leg, so she's crippled and they're struggling. While eating breakfast one morning, Ramona and the kids see a woman dressed in all black just sitting in the yard chilling. Now, as Ramona approaches the woman, asking if she's okay, does she need any help, the woman states and just simply says to her, today's the day. And what happens next is a series of events that will either drive Ramona and the children down a dark path of no way to come back, or they have to come together and fight against this evil that is in their yard. Now, you have to give Jamil credit as he has created a very tense and very suspenseful horror film here. I think he's once again done a fantastic job in directing this film. I mean, first of all, he wastes no time putting the family in danger. His audience has no idea where this woman has come from or why she's even targeting this family. That's what really makes it very suspenseful. I mean, he does a great job in creating the type of atmosphere that you need for a film like this, such as the isolation of the farmhouse, which is a perfect setting for a film like this. I really enjoyed the setting of the house. The house is sort of like a fixer-upper. It's not yet finished. We see the family is struggling. They seem like a pretty decent family too. And all of a sudden, this woman just comes out of nowhere, and just like, wow, he wastes no time in like danger, danger, danger. Another thing he does well, he doesn't rely on typical jump scares that we've seen before in other horror films. Just the emotions that Ramona Taylor and Anna are going through, increasing with their paranoia as the woman continues her assault against the family. The more we see more crazy things happening within the family structure, and the closer she gets, the more crazier they start acting. As it's like, wow, this is no joke here. They're really in trouble. It really makes this work of how frightening, intimidating the woman is, and the fact that Jamil does not use very little or no CGI effects in order to make the woman scary. There's some CGI effects, but it's mainly just the performances that the actress who plays the woman does. She's very intimidating, as I'll talk about her later. Now, Danielle Deadweiler, known for her roles in Till, The Haves and the Have-Nots, and Station 11, she's very good as Ramona, a very damaged woman who is still grieving over the loss of David and struggling to keep her family together. It's her emotions, her fearful of her family, what drives the film, and Danielle does a great job in displaying them, especially when a secret regarding the car accident is revealed towards right around the middle of the second act of the film. Now, Nigerian actress Okui Okapolowski, I think I pronounced her name right again, is great as a woman. As she's quite frightening and scary. Kind of reminds me of the actress Bonnie Aarons, who plays real Demon Valak in The Nun and The Nun 2. Her performances is that she doesn't really need any type of makeup in order to make her scary. It's just her presence in the film, how she talks, how she acts, and how she acts towards the kids, how she acts towards Ramona, that is enough. It's scary enough and intimidating enough and frightening enough that that's very good. So I thought she actually did a very fine performance playing the woman. Now, as I stated earlier, this is actually one of the horror films I was looking forward to because I really enjoyed the trailer. It was very frightening enough. I love the actress, Daniela Deadweiler. I thought she's a very good actress. We know Jamel, he's a great director. He directed The Shallows and The Orphan. I really thought this was going to be one of the good ones for this year. And everything is good about this film until we get to the third act. And that's when the film decides to take a real left turn and it never recovers. Now, I don't know what screenwriter Stan Stefanik was thinking about, but it seems like he couldn't come up with a decent way how to end the film. I mean, lots of crazy stuff happens during the third act, and some of it will make sense, mainly dealing with the fallout about who really caused the accident, but the other parts make no sense whatsoever. There's a lot of surreal moments that happens during the third act of the film where we might think one thing is happening to Ramona, but another thing is happening to her. It doesn't really have any cohesiveness to make it sense, and it might definitely lose the audience because it certainly did lost me. As a matter of fact, the people who came out the theater after watching it was very disappointed because they actually thought this was going to be just as good as The Conjuring, and they were very disappointed. I mean, it's like Sam was trying to trick the audience into doing something clever, but it eventually fails and turns what could have been a very decent horror movie into a fair one. Now, I've actually seen this trick work in other horror films like The Night House, Antlers, and It Follows. Now, those worked because we knew what was happening, but unfortunately, this one doesn't work here. If you're going to attempt to try to trick the audience by putting something, then you want to make sure that it makes sense, that it have some cohesiveness, that it actually fits the story. And unfortunately, it does not here. So, despite some great acting from Danielle and Akui, even the kid actors are pretty good. Some decent cinematography and some decent good scares. This movie just falls flat after the third act of the film. So, how disappointed in this particular film? So, I'm going to give The Woman in the Yard only 2 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Yeah, started off very well, was very impressed. Acting was good between the 2 lead actresses. Thought had a lot of good, scary moments, some very good, intimidating moments. But unfortunately, after that third act, it just falls flat. So it only is going to get 2 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Very disappointed with The Woman in the Yard. So there you have it, horror fans. That is my video and review of The Woman in the Yard. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen The Woman in the Yard? What do you thought about it? Were you disappointed in this film, or did you actually did enjoy that third act? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember that horror rules. And I see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there.